One of the most powerful features in SuccessWare is the ability to record and maintain opportunities on customers' accounts, making sure that chances to sell to the customer don't fall through the cracks. You can open any individual customer account and record what's called an opportunity. An opportunity is some chance that you have to sell something to the customer in the future. The list of opportunities that you see here, to a degree, come predefined in SuccessWare, but are able to be modified by you, the end user, to contain whatever types of items that you wish to track. In this case, I'm going to indicate that this customer needs a humidifier. This is referred to us by our technician who was out in the field on a job. Now from here I can indicate that a lead is required, and this would mean that we actually need a notification that a customer is going to have a sales job generated. I don't need that in this case. Instead, I'm simply going to indicate that a follow-up is required. I'm going to identify a specific date on which I want to contact this customer to remind them of their need for a humidifier and see if I can do something to generate that sale. This opportunity is going to go into a screen in our Opportunity Manager called Follow-ups Due, where I'm going to be able to make sure that this is taken care of. Let's take a look in the Opportunity Manager at some follow-ups that are due through the current date. As you can see, this list has been generated based upon follow-up opportunities that have been created on customers' accounts, reminding me that the customer needs to be contacted and the reason for that outbound contact. Once I call the customer, I can edit the notes to indicate what was the result of the call. This note can be added to a history, and the follow-up can be updated as well. So if in this situation I can't get a hold of the customer, I can go ahead and update the follow-up date and maybe try to call them back in another week. If I am able to get a hold of the customer and they want us, let's say, to send a salesperson out, we can create the sales job directly from the Opportunity Manager. So we've reached out, customer says come on out, we're ready to build the sales job. In this example, we'll build a sales job to give a quote for a new humidifier. Once the sales job has been created and it's been placed out on the dispatch board, we have the ability to actually build the quote that goes with that sales job right into the software. Here's an example of a sales quote that I built to go out and install a tankless water system. The quote in SuccessWare could then be printed in a contract-like format where you have controls over the content. This can also be emailed to the customer directly from within the software. Same way that we debrief regular service jobs and installations, we also do a debrief at the end of a sales job. This debriefing form allows me to identify what it is that we offered to the customer, whether they decided to accept the offer that we made to them or not, whether we delivered the quote yet or not. It also allows me to go in and indicate that we might need to follow up with the customer. So we may have delivered the quote, the customer didn't make their decision yet. The same way that we were able to create an opportunity with follow-up, here we can add a lead follow-up so that we know to call the customer back perhaps in a week or so to check to see the status of the quote that we delivered for them. If the job does indeed sell, we can mark that it's sold from within this debrief form, identify how much it's sold for, even whether or not it credit rejected, and then right from within this form we can actually build our installation job. We're going to create the new job. The information is automatically going to be carried over from the original sales job, including the original lead source that generated the particular sales job. All we have to do is make sure that we've got our job instructions included. So let's pull those up. And then it's a matter of taking the job out to our schedule and giving it to one of our installation crews. We're going to do this with the same drag and drop method that we use for scheduling all jobs. I'm going to switch out to the date that we're going to perform the install and drop the appointment on Brandy, my scheduler's appointment schedule for the day. Now, a couple of nice little shortcuts that are built into sales jobs are the ability to copy the quote that we generated directly to the accounts receivable invoice for the job. Here I'll indicate the install date, and with a right click, I can copy the original sales quote right to the accounts receivable invoice. This is also going to bring over any costing information, so I don't have to re-record that information. Another great little shortcut in relation to sales jobs that were generated, or installations that were generated from a sales job, is the ability to copy the material lists that I need, those are coming right from the quote, directly to an inventory requisition if we're using inventory, or directly to a purchase order if I need to send this off to a supplier. A lot of easy steps meant to prevent you from having to double and even triple enter information. Lastly, we need to be able to report on our sales jobs. The sales lead tracking report in SuccessWare will allow me to look at my sales jobs by the type, their status, and allow me to take a look to see whether they've sold or whether they haven't. This is going to give me closing ratios as well as averages for my salespeople. The sales lead tracking report offers many filtering options to allow me only to look at certain types of sales jobs, only those that were generated by particular lead sources, and even those that just sold, those that didn't sell, or even those that just credit rejected. You'll have the ability to fully analyze your sales.